it was Bella. It's Bella, the singer. Do you know her?
Oh, Bella, the R&B singer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so she did the intro for us.
Yeah.
I think obviously because me and Gabs come from a music background, so
You do music?
Well,
Was
I did it.
What kind of genre? Like grime and
so you know what I used
because your generation,
grime, yeah, my generation was grime, so we used to be grime MCs, and then obviously when we stopped doing it like from the worldly perspective or from the road perspective, and we kind of there was an opening like in the gospel scene, and then like around the time of like Bibles around that time, so Gabs was in that, so that's when things picked up. And so Gabs was doing his thing, I was doing my thing, and because we were like both from East, a lot of mutual friends, you know, a lot of like work being done in similar studios and stuff like that. That's how we connected, and so in terms of this song, like the connection that we had with her for a mutual,
that's interesting. But yeah, obviously because I accidentally didn't press the button to record for the YouTube people. Another episode, Don't Tell My Wife podcast, here with a special guest, Gamechanger. And yeah, man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, man. It's great. As you said, you know, what's it called? Husband of one. I'm going to start using that. Husband of one. In this day and age, you have to clarify that husband of one. Honestly, that's great, man. But thank you, man.
Coming.
Honestly,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. As you guys know, man, like, share, comment, subscribe, and you'll see more guests.
Come on, man.
You see the guests that we're bringing on. Some stars.
Trust me, no, man. I love it, man.
No, honestly, but yeah. Normally, what we do when we first come on and when guests come on as well, we always like to talk about what our wives did this week.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a little segment we've got.
Yeah, it's a little segment. Okay, it could be good. It could be bad.
It's a safe space.
It's a safe space.
It's a safe space to men. Because at the beginning, the women were complaining. You guys are saying bad things. So we switched up to good, bad. So what did your wife do this week?
A good thing that my wife did this week, I can't lie, it will probably be agreeing with my mum to get the girls to come over to Dagenham and be looked after.
Because whose idea was it? Your mum's?
I'll be real, I think my wife may have said a few things to my mum, like, where, you know, remote working and all of that kind of stuff, and we need a moment and X, Y, Z. So, and I think my mum was like, I think I might have some days off, you know.
Because it worked out.
So it worked out, so I can't lie, that was a lifesaver, because, what was it? I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It was Monday, and we're both working from home. And then my wife went out. Maybe this is the flip side too. So she left me with both the girls while I was working from home. So I was taking meetings and they're shouting and they're watching TV, this, that, and the third. You know, you're putting yourself on mute and then I'm running to the kitchen to go off on unmute and whatnot. And then there was one moment where I've gone to like sort them out food now, and then by the time I've come back, there's paint all over the floor.
Paint?
So
what paint? Like children paint or like?
It was children's paint, but it's the fact that it's paint.
It's paint, regardless.
Do you have carpet or floorboard?
Carpet. So my head was spinning. So literally.
Wait, what do you even do? Because you can't shout.
No, my head was spinning.
You can't shout at them.
No, I literally stepped out and I called and I said, "Babe, where are you?"
Come home now.
I said, she was like, "What's up?" I said, "Please come now, because what your children have done, I have serious headaches." You know what? And she was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm like 20 minutes away from him." I just sat on the stairs. I just sat on the stairs, just like with my hands like this. So I come in like with paint all over their hands and then whatnot. I just said, you know what? Just please
go, please.
Actually, they think that they don't see anything that they've done wrong in it. They're just playing.
The first one, my first one, she knew.
Oh, she does.
She knew, and she was like, "Sorry, Daddy, I didn't mean it." How old is she? She's 4, going 5.
Yeah, so she knows,
like literally. So she's like, "Daddy, sorry, you know, I didn't mean to X, Y, and Z." And in that moment, obviously, as a parent, like you're not trying to flip out. And one thing, obviously, that we've had to learn from our parents is that you know, don't discipline out of anger. Like when you're calm and collected, you can come back to it. But at that moment, I was vexed. So I just said, that's why I said, I'm going to sit on the stairs and then my wife come back. Do you get what I'm saying? Because otherwise, man, I don't even know. And I think that's a scary place as a parent when you don't know because of anger, you don't know what you're capable of doing. I don't want to get myself into that situation. So I'd rather do that. So she was there, oh, daddy. And I wasn't responding. Please. I don't mind whatever anyone has to say. Yeah. That one, at least, because I can manage that. But I don't want to do anything that's going to be out of character. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So my wife contributed to that one.
I heard that. No, but it's funny when working from home with your kids, is an extreme sport, bro. Because my son, he's very vocal. So he'll just be screaming, like, I'm on a meeting. When you said you have to run to the... You know what? There was one day I was on a meeting and I had to talk. And this was quite an important meeting. Oh, I just put him in the bedroom, close the door. I was like, you can wait here for 5 minutes. You're not gonna... You're fine. I just close the door. Do what I need to do and then come back. And then even the other day we said about anger. So this week, imagine. So my son's 16 months. Okay. So, but he's like... energetic, sometimes he'd be like, what does he eat? Like he's this so my TV is not on the wall, so it's on the TV stand. This guy came, he just went boom, pushed it. I just looked at my wife. I said, please. Take your child.
That's when it's your child.
I said, please take him. Because if this TV breaks,
head loss straight.
But what did your wife do this week?
Bro, I've been trying to wrap my head about what she done this week. I don't know if there's much. Nah, it's been a good week. It's been good.
What makes it a good week?
When she makes my favorite meals, and she takes care of me. That's it. But honestly, it's been a good week. Everything's been fine. The other bit will probably be for his development stuff, but yeah, it's been a good week. We've just been trying to obviously tag team on this 2-month-old, so it's still challenging. But we're still getting to grips with it. So, but it's all good. Yeah, it's been a good week still.
Well, this girl, woman. This woman, she went to go get a parking ticket, And the thing that's annoying, I don't know, women, like, help us, please. We're the cost of living, please. So she went to go park somewhere where I've said, in my house with the bays, she parked in the bay that you're not meant to park at. You need a permit. Okay. She went to go and park there. She said, I'll be fine. I'm just opening the letters. Boom, I see fine. I looked at her, I was like...
Wait, but you have a designated parking space?
It's a gate, you have to use the key. We haven't got the fob yet. So every time we want to go inside, we have to get out and park. So we'll just park outside if it's from convenience. So she parked where she wasn't meant to park.
Wait, but is it that she was parking then coming back, or was she parking there to stay?
She was parking there to stay. So we was going out. So she parked there, come up, and then a couple hours we go out again. So she was like, let me just park outside. Yeah. Fine.
How much is the fine? 65?
No, this is like £100.
So it's 65 you pay with
65. And then what she done, so I was going somewhere when I saw the fine. I took a picture, I sent it to her. She said, sorry. I was like, it's me that's gonna have to pay for this.
No, but bro, remember I told you about our parking fine as well. Like that's what they do.
Why do we do this?
It's not me that's paying that.
No, but the thing is,
I'm putting it on her desk. There's one. So I think like maybe 2 months ago.
Do you share a car?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's the worst one.
That's the worst one. I hate it. Yeah.
So we went. There's like a Waitrose that has like 2-3 hours or whatnot. But she went to be doing coffee and whatnot. She went to do up coffee.
Why did they do this?
So in my mind, I'm like, so I'm seeing something in my name, but
why did they do this?
I don't get parking tickets. Mine is speeding.
I do
God will help me.
Yeah.
My issue is speeding. Parking.
There's no fine.
I will look. I will stand. I will look at what do I need. If it's Ringo app, if I need to go and find something, that one, because I don't have time for that.
Honestly,
but it's speeding that's onto me. So, I'm like, I've seen this kind of letter before. But it's my name that's on the thing because the car's in my name.
It's our name.
So I'm reading. I'm like, you were in this parking place. So I'm looking at my calendar. I said, I wasn't there. I said, babe. I said, were you at so and so on this day? She was like, oh yeah. I said, okay, I have something for you. I came upstairs and I put that thing on.
Of course.
She was like, yeah, I'll sort it out. Yeah,
okay.
Because it's not gonna sort it out.
Of course it's
now she looks at me and she's like,
bro, not gonna like, bro. You see what I said now? So to get a key fob, we'll talk about it the other week. Yeah. To get a key fob at his place, £80. Yeah. Now you're paying 65 for one time. True. So please, just pay the £80.
Yeah.
I've told you, you don't have to listen to me.
That's what she did this week. That's what she did. But we've also been, so obviously his son is 2 months. 2 months.
Maybe 9 weeks.
So I wanted to start asking about his development, weekly development and stuff. So yeah, how's your...
Oh, bro, this week's new development.
What's he doing this week?
Bro, he's rejecting bottles. Like, you put the bottle in his mouth, innit? He'll drink like maybe like 2 ounces or so. The next minute, he'll just be using his tongue to push it out. And I'm like,
I don't know.
I try to keep putting it in. Yeah. Push it out. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what? If you want to go hungry, go hungry. But bro, 1 minute, he's crying for the bottle. Next minute, he's pushing it out. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, he got his first injections yesterday.
Okay.
And yeah,
how was he?
Yeah, no, you know what? When it's your own child and you see them going through pain, it hurts you, innit?
Were you there?
Yeah. So I always try and make sure I'm at everything, innit? So I just made sure I worked from home. So we went and they put the needle in and I just heard one loose screech. That obviously, because he's getting an injection, but so yeah, no, it's fine though. You know, he just slept really much for the whole day. But I don't think anything can get me over that circumcision one. You know the circumcision one?
Yeah, that's like
that one.
Scream.
Yeah, that scream.
How was that? Because me, I have no experience.
Go dad. Bro, you know what? Yeah, I knew about obviously about having to get a boy circumcised, but when obviously I found out that he was a boy, months ago, I was like, they just dawned on me one day. I said, "Oh my God, he has to get circumcised." And then I was just like, "Oh Jesus!" So we had the circumcision, and it was fine. Ab, she didn't want to come and watch after the injection, so she went out. Her mum was there as well, but she went out as well. So it was just me holding him down.
That's our job,
he left me by myself.
That's our job, man.
No, it's true, but. Bro, I can't lie, it was traumatizing still. But then as well, when I think about it, I'm like, I had to go through this, and I don't even remember it, so you'll be okay. But yeah, it's very traumatizing doing all of these things. But it's for his own benefit, so you know. So I don't. It is what it is. But yeah, that's his development of this week. What about Zeph?
I've said Zeph's one, man. This guy, he needs to calm down, man. Like, he's too energetic, man. I wonder he's gonna break something. Yeah, what, he's gonna. I'm just waiting. And I'm just...
Do you baby-proof the house or do
you know what? It's like he avoids the baby-proofing. Like, he gets around stuff. I don't... Yeah. But boys, isn't it? I think that's just what they're...
He doesn't even touch his toys. He just...
He doesn't play with his toys. We have so much toys. Like, literally, our house is full of his toys. And he would rather play with the household stuff.
Right.
Yeah, he's not... Yeah, he's
like, even when I was at yours, and obviously, Malachi has his car seat.
Yeah. He was jumping.
Tell me why Zeph was going into the car seat. I was like, oh, guy, you had this car seat how many months ago? You didn't care about it. Now you want to be
Nah, but I love him.
Kids are funny, man.
Like, this energy I need to put into football or something.
Yeah, bro, it's time for Project Saka, bro.
Have you seen that is it Todd Benner on Instagram? The
one that plays for like an Italian club or Belgium.
No, he's like 1 year old or something, or 2, and he's sick at dribbling.
I've seen a few of them.
Yeah. You probably see what I'm talking about.
Malachi will be there. He's the head, he's not the tail. How was
your last daughter?
She's 1 and 2 months.
Wow. Is there like, because you have 2 girls, so have you seen like a difference 100%. Between both of them?
Yeah.
So what's the difference? What they like?
So my firstborn, she's very much in touch with her emotions. She's very much, cuddly, I want to be around mommy and daddy, you know. She's very much an affirmation. Like, affirmation is very big for her. So it's kind of like she does her hair. Like, daddy, am I beautiful?
That's nice. That's nice.
I put a hair clip in, am I like, and so it's a very big thing for her. And she's very much a people's person. She likes being outside. Church events, like me, that's the one I'm like, Lord, I don't really want to take Tina because she's just... Once she gets in an environment with people there, her head is gone.
Main character. What, just like main character.
With people. It's like main character. That's what I'm saying. And I always, my wife is like, who's that? Is that me or is that you? And I'm like, I know I'm a people's person, but I'm not like a main character-ish person. I was like, babe, I think that's you. But the being around people like that exciting, that's very much me. So that's her. Whereas second born, her thing is like independence. Like, don't feed me. Like,
just snatch herself.
Don't feed me. Don't help me stand up. Don't, if I'm chilling or I'm playing, don't come and play with me.
Oh, wow. Even with her sister?
When her sister comes to try and play, like even just now before I came here, the tablet, like she was playing with her tablet. And then her big sister comes over to try and play with her. The way she tried to just rock her jaw. I don't know. That's the thing that I need to. I'm baiting out my second born, but I don't know where she got it from. If she doesn't like someone doing something too strongly, it's a slap or it's a hook or just however her hands fly. Whatever you catch is whatever you catch. That is just her. You know what I mean? But I just love that's for me. I would say my second born is also another mini version of me because me, I can't say I was smacking people in their faces, but bro, you don't mess around. That's the you know what I'm saying? So I'm seeing that in both my daughters, and for me, I think as a father, I'm just trying to harness that as they grow. I want to harness those things because I feel like for the second born, that don't mess with me attitude can go a long way, especially for a woman. Like you need that in the world that we're growing up in. And at the same time, like for her sister, who's just like a people's person, loves being around people, like that can be such a great gift and skill. And I'm not even thinking, like when she grows up, like she needs to be a minister in church or whatever. But wherever she is purposed to be, that aura, that character will benefit her strongly. So as a parent now, that's what I'm trying to focus. So the firstborn, she does like drama classes. We call her drama queen because she's definitely best. We put her in drama classes because we're like, that's what you need. You know what I mean? So
that's really nice. But You've been married for 7 years.
You just celebrated 7 years.
Congratulations.
Damn, I told you he was going to get someone seasoned.
And that's why you're here. We want to have a sit down with someone that's been married for a very long time. Someone that can teach us some stuff as well. And especially your calling as well. So this is a very important conversation. But let's take it back. So when you were young, how did you meet your wife? Sorry.
It was uni, it
was
uni.
Nice.
That was my uni babe. But the reality is, I wasn't going to uni to get into a relationship, and I also wasn't hoping to find a relationship in uni because I just wanted to get uni over and done with. I just felt like
that's a good mindset.
I had a lot of from growing up. I always used to hang around like olders. So from like secondary school times, I had brothers that were in like uni already. In brothers in the faith from the church space and stuff like that. So sometimes they'll be like, come to you. These times I'm in secondary school and I'm on campus like with, you know what I'm saying, 21-year-olds. Like,
what campus was this?
This was Brunel, this was Hertfordshire, this was Coventry. So I was doing uni tours.
Coventry?
Secondary school. Because literally it's because of relationship and because by that time, like a lot of these older guys, like my parents knew them. So it's not even like, like my son is just going to random places. These were guys that my parents knew and trusted. So I'm going to like for their birthdays and this, that, and the third. So like I'm exposed to like a lot more of a mature view, but then at the same time, like you're also aware of a lot of madness. So for me, I was just like, you know what? By the time I get to uni, I'm not really in it for. I'm not going in to find someone, and I'm really hoping that. Even when I'm in there, I don't find someone. That was just me.
Had you given your life to Christ at that point?
I had. So I was on the straight and narrow by that time. And uni was probably one of my greatest life experiences because, like I was saying about my daughter, I'm very much a people's person. So by the time first year, maybe second or third week, I was literally. Like in the black community, I was already one of the most popular guys.
Oh, is it?
I'm not for anything mad. I was just the guy everyone likes.
Yeah.
Everyone likes. Yeah, football, ACS, this, that, and everyone just liked me. And then by like second years were finding out about me. Third years were finding out about me.
Were you called Gamechanger at the time?
No, I was called Smalls at the time.
Smalls, okay.
So at that time, Smalls, when you hear Smalls, it's a name that commands respect. Like everyone, now listen, seriously. Like I did a post a little bit like about my uni journey last week, and I was getting like guys from back in the day from uni. They were like, Smalls, it's great to see you. You're passing the track now, X, Y, and Z. Like, thank you so much for like what you did at uni, the conversation we had, X, Y, Z. So for me, like, I know how influential I was. I went to Brunel. So Brunel, like, very, very much a heavy black presence, Asian presence and stuff like that. So I became popular very quick. And then I decided to kind of use that to my faith to my advantage and kind of just being the Christ that, like, people who needed to be, people that had needs that needed to be met. Like I was trying to be that person. So it were man them like, you know, on campus that were moving brazy, whether it was, you know, doing airful, whether it was, you know, selling drugs or whatnot. I was there with them. Whilst man, they were cutting up. I'll be there. I'll be talking to them about Jesus. Like on campus, security, I'll just patrol. They're like banging on the doors. Yeah, we can smell something. When they see me, like security would see me. Oh, Smalls, what are you doing here? I'm just like, yeah, I'm just talking to my friends. They would go. They would literally go, even though they could. It was bait. They could just bag these guys. But literally, because I was there and because there was that level of trust, it was just kind of like, so, and then the sisters there, maybe, like, obviously when you're in your first year, like a lot of girls were just throwing it down easy. Just having conversation, like so atheist, this, that, and the third. So things were just picking up. And then my wife, even though she's the same age as me, she came a year later. Okay. When I first saw her.
Yeah, what was that like? What did you think?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is a good Christian sister. Like, she's.
Is that to you?
I'm like, you're a good Christian sister. Like, we went to, I don't know, maybe Deeper Life or like her dressing was not. It weren't London girl dressing. I was like, bro, like, she looks out of place. And I'm at these things. The first time I saw her, she was with a group of girls from South London, and people, how do you know they were from South? You just know the aura. But anyway, by the time we got to know them, anyway, like a few days later, they were all from South London. We were on the money anyway. But she was out of place. She looked out of place for me, and I can tell because I can read like environments very well. So I was like, yeah, man. But then, as I started to get to know her and a friendship group that she was forming very early on, I realized that she was like the auntie of the group. Like she had her head straight. She just knew like what to say to the guys. If the ladies had issues, they were going to her. And for me, that struck a big chord in me because I was like, there's something about you. And I'd like to get to know. But I was kind of hesitant because I was like, I said, I'm not trying to get to you guys. So my boy, one of my close boys, he was like, bro, I can see that, you know, you're getting smitten a little bit. And my guy he's a forward guy, man. Just being forward. So not long after that, like, and my wife was very cool with him as well. And I remember one time he was like, you know what? I think my boy likes you. You know,
he just said it without telling you.
Bro, he didn't tell me. He did not tell me anything.
That's a sackable offence.
Like looking back,
but he's my guy.
Looking back, he done the right. He done the good.
No, he done the right.
Looking back, he looked
guy,
up for you,
but it's still sackable
because he probably thought, he probably thought you're not gonna do this, so let me do it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think that was pretty much it. And to be fair, it depending on your friendship with a person, it could be a sackable, but that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So he said it, and then maybe like a week later she called me and we were talking, and then at one moment she was kind of like, so I know that, you know, you kind of have feelings towards me, and like
what's that? Like
so I'm lying on the bed, I'm like yo, she's like, you know, I was talking to Ola, and like I can see like the type of guy that you are, and from what a lot of people are saying about you, like there's something about you, and I'm like, bro,
thank you.
No, like thanks.
So that's what I said.
You said
I said no, honest to God.
Thank you, sister.
I said thank you. I I said, I said, you're very beautiful. I said, you're very beautiful. And that's where I left it. So, but she was waiting to hear, I like you too.
Yeah.
So, guys, that's the beginning of where madness, that's the beginning of how the madness of our relationship began.
Yeah.
Because she was livid.
Wait, how?
She just poured out all her feelings.
And
I just said, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
She said, I like you, this, that,
but sometimes that's how women like to be treated sometimes. Like, keep them a bit, you get me?
No,
you can't dive in fully.
No, but not if you can say...
If they said, I like you, or they've told you your feelings, and you're like,
back, bro.
Yeah, that's not mystery. I feel like there's a difference. If you're kind of like, yeah, man, I see this in you, and yeah, man, like I've been noticing X, Y, and Z. I didn't say all of that.
You just said you're beautiful.
Were you feeling the same as well, but you just didn't want to?
I was at a place where I felt like if I was beginning to pay a bit more attention, I think I would have been sold very quickly. And then I was kind of like, at that point, I was kind of like, my boys set me up.
Oh yeah.
And me, like from secondary school, I don't like playing games with girls.
Yeah.
I'm straightforward. If I'm serious, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I don't like doing this thing. You know, like when you're growing up, man, them will just, you know, play around with girls for the sake of it, because you know you can move to girls for me. If I'm
there's grace.
If I'm there, listen, I know how to play the game. So for me, it's kind of like, if I'm doing that, I'm going all the way, or I'm not doing it at all. Because I don't have time for multiple girls feeling things towards me.
That's just like me, man.
I don't have time for that. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't have time to chat to this girl, that girl, and then they're all saying, oh yeah, I like you, when are we linking up? Because me, I'd already set myself in trouble. Like me, I was just the likable guy. Everyone, I don't need to do that. Girls would just be like, yeah, let's go Stratford. At that time, there was a cinema in Stratford, and every Tuesday and Wednesday, Picture House. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, they used to do like the latest films, like £2-3. So I used to rinse out that place, like every week. Like man would be like, yo, but you always so. I'm like, yeah, they're my friends. I saw what? It's my lectures, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's a couple of quid, like, like what's the issue? Man. Do you get it? But yeah, by the time uni came in, after getting saved, all of that kind of stuff, like my focus was straight. So after that, I felt really bad getting off the phone, and then she went back to my boy and she said, yeah, your boy took me for a mug, like X, Y, Z. So
wait, like, that's a bit harsh, though.
Like, no, it's valid. I hear it.
No, for me, I got it. Like I deeped it, because if I as a guy, if I said to her, babe, look, I'm feeling you X, Y, and Z, and she's like, yeah, man, you know. You're God-fearing man. Like,
that'll make me want it even more, man. I can't lie.
You think so?
Yeah, man. I love the chase, man.
Wow. Yeah, man. I can't lie.
I love the chase, man. I love the hustle.
I was on that chase. I can't do, man. There's a different kind of chase, but I'll get to that point. After that, she was like, my bro was like, bro, man, why did you do that, man? I know that you're developing. I'm like, I feel there might be something there, but I don't want to lead her on without knowing this thing is real.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, cool. Like, you know what? I'm going to call her back and apologize and just let her know what's real. So I called her back. She was not interested in this conversation. And I said, look, I feel like there might be something there. Even though I came to uni not trying to look for anyone, but I feel like I may be catching feelings for you. And I said, like, as a believer, let me just think about it. Let me pray about it. Let me get direction on it. You know what I mean? And then maybe like a month after, it was kind of clear that, you know what? I was seeing so much of her more on campus. I was hearing a lot more about her from people about, you know, good things. Like, people like, yeah, man, she's like Auntie Toby, like she's an auntie. These are older girls. Saying that my wife who's younger than them, who gave them advice and stuff like that, saying that she's an auntie X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I can see a wife in her. I can see a mum. Like, she's doing big cook-ups. Like, I said, yeah, there's
value.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, yeah, like, and I'm obviously praying about it. And then, yeah, like, I came back to her and I was like, look, I am very serious about you. Like, I'm head over heels about you. Like, I'm really serious.
Yeah.
But she was like, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So she spun it back on me now. That's when the chase.
Okay.
So
I respect you did that.
The chase now, I can't lie. That one, it cut pride and ego, man, because it's kind of like now for her. It's like now you've got to work for it, because I was a bit forward at the beginning. Now, like, you need to show me that you're serious about it. So it took maybe like 6 to 8 months of like, hard grafts. Me, I can do that. Me, we're raised in the trenches. We can work hard. But after that, I think it got to a point where I was like, now you're kind of mugging it. And I kind of mentioned it to her once or twice. But then I think by then, maybe she felt like, okay, I've got more. I've got more than I needed. So now, and then, funnily enough, she was the one that kind of made things formal. So I'd been trying to like, when are we going to be official sort of thing? But she kind of been playing it down. Then she spun it in a way, like one day she came over, like wrote a card or whatever and gave it to me. And then, we were official that day. So she kind of finalized it in that sense. So man, she's my uni babe.
I'm screaming.
Uni babe. And we just journeyed from there really. And then what's interesting is that what she was for her group, I was for mine. So most of my guys were in the same year, but a lot of my guys were from 1 year or 2 years before, but they deferred going to uni. So I was in my friendship circle, I was one of the youngest. And then, I quickly became the uncle of the group. I quickly became the voice of reasoning for the group. Literally everything. If man them wanted to get free tickets to a rave, they're coming to me. If you want like Bible study, to me, this, that. So everyone's just coming to me for everything. Do you know what I'm saying? If they're having, a little squabble with someone else, they're coming to me. Literally. So, I was easy. What she was for her group, I was for my group.
Is that still the same now with you guys and your friendships?
Pretty much. Like and the thing is that I don't try and do uncle vibes. Like I don't know. I think maybe because I grew up very quick because of who I surrounded myself with. So, like I said, a lot of the men that I was around were older. So, like, wisdom was a big thing for me. Even when I first got into the faith, like, wisdom was a very big thing. So, when I'm sitting in spaces, they're like, bro, like, wisdom, like, you speak a lot of wise things. I'm just like, I credit that to the fact that when I was younger, I was picking wisdom just like that. So, when, the people that were around now, it's just like, it's Gamechanger or E-Man for my friends. Like that's what they can say about both of us.
So fast forward, you both were together. When did you decide? Okay, God, I want to make this woman my wife. How was that decision for you?
That was interesting because that was at a point in life where I wasn't working. I'd graduated. I'd been out of uni for about a year, no job. Things were just tough. And it was during that time, like, I just felt God kept on being like, marriage is on the card soon.
How old were you at the time?
At that time, like 22.
Bro, but when
to a lot of people that's been like married
because it's because we get in our relationships in uni, and uni's what, 17, 18. You're going from uni, after uni, then not that that's the next step, but it's pretty much like you're both together in this journey. Like, what's really next? It's because we meet each other, we've been meeting our partners young. That's the main reason.
I think that's the main thing. Another thing though is that a lot of my guys weren't in relationships. So I was like one of the only ones. So that's literally, it made sense. Auntie and uncle get married first. So it literally just fell into play. But for us, because once we had gotten into a relationship, it was stable. Like some of the guys were in relationships and then come out of relationships. Some of my friends weren't saved, so their life is YOLO. It's just whatever they feel like. So it was a bit of an interesting space. But that time there, I was like, okay, cool. I have no job, nothing. There's nothing going for me. And I haven't met her pops yet. I've met her mum, but I haven't met her pops yet. So it's just like, okay, I feel this God thing. Let me whatever. So I've gone to her mum and I said, like, mum, like, I'd like to, take things serious with your daughter and whatnot. She said, Emmanuel, I love you, but her dad's not gonna take you serious at this moment. She's like, you don't have a job, and her dad, would not want to hand his daughter over. This is his first child, and his first child is a daughter. So to hand over to you, that's not working. It will just, it will not sit well. So she's like, look, let me tell you something. Just sort out your job, sort out stability in your life, and yeah, we can do this. So I was trying to graft as best as I could, just being prayerful, X, Y, and Z. And yeah, like a year later, that's when, 2 years after leaving uni now, and I'm 20, by that time I was 24-ish, and then first like proper paying job came in. My first month's pay, I went straight to Hatton Gardens. I emptied the whole clip. I emptied the whole clip. I said, Mom, I said, we back. When are we? I said, when are we ready to see that? I'm ready to see her dad now. She said, yeah. She said, yeah, I'm going to set up the thing. And then literally had a conversation with him.
Did your missus know about these conversations at this point?
Okay, so I've even skipped past an important moment. So when I was first feeling how I was feeling, and I knew it was a good thing because marriage at the time wasn't on my mind. We were in a good space, but marriage, I wasn't thinking about marriage. But the feelings kept on getting intense. And at that time, like, Bella Niger, like, that culture, like, the year, like, 2015, 2017 was kind of like the year that Bella Niger was popping.
Yeah.
So, 2 years before that, take it back 2 years before that, we didn't really have much content. So I didn't really feel like we need to get excited about weddings X, Y, and Z. It's just, I really love her, whatnot. So I've had a conversation with her and I'm like, babe, my feelings towards marriage, I don't know, like, they're just getting really strong. And I'm like, yeah, like, I want to get engaged, but obviously, my situation, X, Y, and Z. So I'm pouring out my heart to her. These times, I'm jobless, I don't have nothing. Faith. Yeah, you got to figure out faith. Yeah. So she was like, oh, babe, the love is real, but she's like, you
need something.
She's like, I need an engagement ring.
We need wedding. I
said, and you can't afford the engagement ring. It just
your ego at that point.
Yeah.
How was your ego?
You might as well kill me, man.
It felt like she was just standing on top of me, just going like literally, like it was just. But the thing is that she was saying it so innocently. Yeah, it's just like, babe, this is the reality. Yeah. Like we wouldn't, and even her, she was saying that. Look, you even know like what my dad can be like, because so take it back. Her parents lived like in Gloucester, but they were pastor in a church there.
Oh, they're pastor.
Yeah, her parents are pastors as well. Wow. Yeah, so but just that now my parents don't pastor a church, but they're itinerant ministers. Yeah. So her parents were pastors, and they would do like conferences and stuff like that, and they would need musicians. So because her mum knew that me and my bro played. So I played the drums, he played the keys. Oh. So they'll be like, yeah, can you come for the weekend? We'll, sort out your transport. We'll pay you X, Y, and Z. We'll sort out your expenses, hotel, whatnot. So the dad had seen us like bare times.
Yeah, but he didn't know.
Okay. He didn't know. Yeah. So on the day of like the meeting, when I'm sitting down with him now, he's like, oh yeah, you used to come, you're a face that I'm familiar with. Yeah. And I knew, I saw how your eyes were on my daughter.
I said that, you didn't see that, man.
Exactly. I was like, you didn't see that, man. Because these times, when we were growing up there, like, it was always, even her mum was like, look, don't make anything big. Don't be looking at her. Yeah. Don't be standing
her mum was on your side,
bro. Listen, her mum's my mum. Yeah, she's my real G. Yeah. Like, she's got me even up to today, man. I love her parents.
That's how it should be.
Yeah. So, literally, like, yeah, she was like, look, don't make anything big because I don't want him to suss out anything. So when he was saying, I was like, you didn't know anything. You didn't know anything. Like, yeah, man, you didn't know nothing. So, but then at the end of it, it wasn't a long conversation. It was like 45 minutes. And by the end of it, he's like, yeah, like, I see you as my son. I take you in, And then from there, I was like, yeah, I just said engagement coming soon. Not telling them that at these times, I've already patterned the ring. Yeah. And that next week, like, I moved that quick. Once the first pay came in, that weekend, I went to go and see her dad. The week after, I got engaged.
Oh, wow.
Got engaged. But
you was quick.
I was quick. Did you like seek counsel from anyone, like your dad or like
Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't go head first into it. So her mum was a pivotal part of the picture. My parents were a pivotal part of the picture. just praying, getting counsel.
Yeah.
Then I had some like my mentors like in the faith at the time who I went to. So even one, like there was an uncle of mine. He was also a pastor, but he's my uncle. He's a good family friend.
Yeah.
And he, from maybe like 2 years before, because I always used to update him on the situation, relationship, and he was like, you know what, we've got to be praying. We've got to be praying for favor that by the time you meet her dad, everything's going to be cushy. Because from what I knew about her dad is a very like hard, from what I'd known from back in the days, like a very hard man, like emotions not there. He's just very straight, abrasive sort of thing. So he, from 2 years before, we were praying like every week, every Thursday, me and him. So yeah, I had it locked in. For me, that's a big thing. I saw it as marriage is a big thing, you know, and my parents being a great example of that. Yeah. For me, I had always set in my heart that I'm gonna do this thing right. I'm not gonna rush into it. And like I said, like there wasn't at the time for us, there wasn't a big burst of bare people getting married. So when people are like, it's different to now where people are getting engaged and married in every month. Like them times there was not much context for that. Yeah. If you went to one wedding a year, like you would thank God.
Yeah,
like, I'm saying.
I barely went to any weddings.
Yeah, I barely went to any. So literally them times there, like weddings weren't in abundance. Like it wasn't even like big parties and big it wasn't any of that.
I was a bit older, man.
Literally the year that got engaged, and then from then on, that's when like Bella Niger culture and just like big social media stuff, X1s, that's when things started. So my year, like the year that we got married, 2016, bare people got married. And I think one of the big catalysts that year was, if you remember, Carl and Cassie.
Carloco.
I remember seeing that.
They got married the same year as us.
Yeah.
And obviously because their video went viral and everything. That was basically the year. So 2016 was a very big year. There were weddings in abundance and things just like, even we ended up on Bella Niger. Things we ended up on Bella. I've saved that thing. That's bookmarked that thing.
Even me, when I saw our little one,
you ended up there.
Yeah, bro, I saved that. I was like, this is history.
Yeah, like literally. History, right? So we managed to touch there, but that was kind of the journey to that.
Yeah, damn.
So now that you're married, what was that? So wait, how old were you when you got married? Like 23, 24?
No, older.
25.
25. Okay, so you're relatively young, and you've been a Christian for a long time now. So you've been in faith for a long time. So how was that first year of marriage, being a husband? And in the faith as well. Like, what was that like?
You know what? I can't even lie. I feel like, so I'll touch on the point and then I'll lead back into my answer. Yeah. So one of the things that I kind of dislike, especially I've seen maybe the last 5 years, is where people kind of say this thing of the first 3 years are just going to be hell. They're going to be hard. They're going to be X, Y, and Z. I thank God that I didn't receive that sort of whatever. I received it from grounded people, and this is not to say that marriage doesn't have challenging times or tough times, but I'm glad I never received that, because our first year of marriage, though we had disagreements, we're two people coming from two different worlds, two different lifestyles, two different characteristics, X, Y, Z, but we made it work. I'm so grateful to God for the wife that I've got. Like, we make it work. Every situation, even up to now with parenting, we make it work. That's just been our mentality. But our first year, like, we enjoyed it. We were going to weddings. We went to their weddings. You know what I'm saying? We were spontaneous. We were just going out, holidays. Like, it was just, that was it. Like, it wasn't. And then when we came back, obviously, there were challenges like, bro, like, what do you call it? Like when you're slapped with council tax and all of that kind of stuff.
The
it was the reality. Get that. But it was calm. And I say that because things were looking like very paradoxical, in the sense that after the third month of us being married, I lost my job at the time. And it's funny, to give a bit more context. Before we got married, one of the prayers that I prayed to God was, Lord, never allow me to lose a job.
Wow. And then you lost
3 months.
3 months after
into marriage, I lost the job.
But that's one of my biggest fears.
Bro, that is one of the biggest fears I have right now.
And obviously, you don't just say anything about our women, but this generation of women.
It's a different ballgame.
Come on, that's my job.
Listen, yeah.
So how did you tell her? Like, how did you even tell her?
I was at work, and when I found out, I called. She was the first person I called. I said, babe, this is the situation, and she was like, babe, I'm so sorry to hear this. Please just come home as fast as you can, sort of thing. Let's come, let's talk about it. And like literally, I didn't even wait. Like that's the sort of person my wife is. Like, even though communication was probably the harder thing for me, because growing up, I was more the silent person. But when I need to speak, I'll open my mouth and speak. Yeah. So that's kind of, even though I had grown, that was still one of the challenging areas for me. So, but she had always created a space where I could feel comfortable enough to speak. That's why she was the first person I called. Naturally, if I wasn't married, the first person I would have called would probably be Pops.
That's got a good relationship.
That's nice.
That's
Who's the first person your mum, innit?
Abs. If it's not Abs, then it'd be my mum.
Yeah. I heard that.
If it's not my mum, so mum, probably AK, probably quite acting still, because all of those people to me like voices of reason, innit? Yeah. Well, who's the first one?
You know what? I think I would call my dad.
Okay.
But that's because I go to my dad for a reason. My dad is someone that he gives me reason. So I think in those situations I'll go to my dad.
Yeah.
But situations where I'm feeling like emotional, I want to vent or I need to open up, I'll go to my mum.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So they both have their strengths.
Are you how many?
So there's 5 kids. I'm the first.
Oh, you're the first. Okay. Oh, as the first, then you have a good. That's nice, man.
So first, so what's funny is that I don't even think I would have called mom, because she would have just been worried. She just would have been worried.
I heard that story.
She just would. Whereas Pops, like, aside from the fact that I have a great relationship with him, it's that reasoning piece as well. So, but so Mrs. was the first person I called. I didn't even tell Pops, like, for maybe a month or so. I didn't tell him, because one thing I was learning was that in marriage, like, I can't now run back to family now, because now I'm now cleaving to my wife. So that has to be a reality, and I took it literally. So that's what I was doing. So I can't lie and say I wasn't going through a hard time. I was going through a hard time because that moment, that early stage in our marriage, made me realize what some of my ideas about manhood and being a husband was about. And for a long time, as much as my wife is an industrious woman, intelligent woman, a working woman, like, I'd always envisioned that for a good part of it, I'll still be able to be main breadwinner X, Y, and Z. Elements of that is patriarchy, but at the same time, it's just the fact that I don't want my family to suffer. That was my mindset. So it's not even like, because I'm the man, it must be me. It was more, I don't want my family to suffer. And part of that was because both parents being in ministry, I'd seen how challenged, especially my dad when he was doing full-time ministry, how hard, like, not getting much salary from church, X, Y, and Z. And mum she wasn't doing full-time ministry. She had a full-time job. So a lot was resting on her. So for me, it was like, nah, you know what? For me, I don't want to put my wife in a predicament where she's carrying too much. So Lord, let it be me, sort of thing. But I had to deal with that, because then at that moment in time when you're not bringing anything, who's bringing it in?
What?
So it was just like, Lord, every day it was a wrestle. It was like my wife is saying, let's go out to eat, and she's paying for it, or all the bills like are falling on her head and X, Y, and Z. It was kind of like, this is tough. But I'm a level-headed person, and I'm very self-aware in the sense that, like, I analyze things holistically, as opposed to not just focusing on from my perspective, but I'm looking at how what I'm doing impacts her. So if I'm just, moody, grumpy, X, Y, and Z, it has a knock-on effect on her. She's the only one working. She takes that to work. She takes that to this and all of her outside of work activities with her friends, X, Y, and Z. So I had to level up very quickly. And also, on top of that, she did not make me feel any less of a man.
What a woman.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that really saved me because she was like, babe, like, you're a go-getter. She's like, yeah, just keep on like going. Like, just because you haven't heard back from a recruiter or this, that, and the third, doesn't mean that you're not doing what you need to do. She was like, look, babe, like, you know, football, like you obviously, like for me, I played football to a very good level, even up to the end of uni. So like I was in Brunel first and seconds, backwards in college. Like, I was kicking ball. Yeah, I was kicking ball for,
What football team did you
after, huh? Now, Arsenal.
Ah, praise God!
Arsenal, but it's a love-hate relationship. Yeah. I support them, but it's a love-hate relationship. When we win a trophy,
next season, bro, we're winning this season.
We're winning the trophy this season, man.
So yeah, man, like literally. So she was like, and after I finished uni, I was playing for semi-pro. I was playing for Uxbridge FC. Okay. So they're in Uxbridge, they're semi-pro, good level. I was playing for them, and but when I got married, the commitment and the training was too much. Yeah. But she was like, look, you can find something local, you can join a team, like you've always been a gym person, like go to, like, she was just encouraging me to do all these things. So literally, literally. So she's gone to work, and there used to be days when I just did nothing, and then she was like, no, babe, come on, like, you're a people person, like, you still got stuff going on for you. You do, just because you don't have a job doesn't mean life is over. Mm-hmm. So I started doing these things, and I realized very quickly that I didn't ever feel like I was out of a job too much. I never felt that way too heavy because I was always involving myself in stuff. And then by that time, like, I was involved a lot more in the church that I was serving at the time. Okay. We were both serving, but because I had a lot more time, more time to serve. Then a lot of it had to do with campus ministry, which ended up being back at Brunel. Okay. So I'm at a familiar place. I'm on campus, like counseling.
Is that kind of why your church is around that area now?
No, not really. Okay. Not really, because anyway, that's another. But
we'll get there.
We'll get there. But yeah, it's just like them times there. But that okay. I'll put it like this, our first Christmas, my goodness, we didn't even have enough to buy like a turkey and this, that, and the third. Like, it was trenches. But she just did little things. Like, I remember on Christmas Eve, like, she ordered a pizza, and then on like Christmas Day, like, she just made like, she tried to make like one flamboyant like breakfast, like French toast and fruits and mimosas and all of that. Like, she just. And then we went to her uncle who lives like in Romford. Was like, you guys come over for Christmas. And he did one big shindig, big house. We did a big shindig. Like, we went down, we stayed there. Like, it never felt like we didn't look like what we were going through. Yeah. And to be fair, I'm gonna give so much credit to God in my wife. Yeah. So my first year, we had these challenges, but for obvious reasons, but we enjoyed it to the best of our ability. We made what we could out of it.
And I think that's like those kind of times is what you cherish as well, because they're memories, bro. 100%. Like, they're memories, like 100%. Proper memories. Like, even me, I was remembering, like, I think, what was it? Like, me and Abs, when we first started, we got out of uni, we both hated our jobs. And when we both quit and left, like, that summer, like, there was no P in it, but bro, every week, couple times a week, I'd be going to Stratford. We'd be doing bike rides. We'd be going to London with no money. But it was good. And I can't, like, even thinking about it now, I kind of miss those times, because those were times like where we didn't even have what we have now. Right. But because we were just young and we didn't care. We could just do whatever. And I think those are like the memories that I really, really cherish.
I love that. Yeah. And I feel like in marriage, like, as people get on in their marriage, whether they have kids or not. But as time goes on, sometimes, like, if you don't try and make an effort to not even necessarily recreate, but just rekindle that spontaneity, that childlikeness, in a sense of, babe, what? Man. It is. And I'll be the first to say it. But moments like this, for example, this weekend, we don't have them. Like, we're just like, okay, last night we went to the cinema to watch Barbie. Like, tomorrow we're doing this. We're just in the time that we do get, do something with it. Yeah. Because that's what keeps marriage. That's one of the key things that keeps marriages alive. I know not everyone has that, luxury, especially when kids come in the picture. Maybe you don't have people to help out, but when you do, do it, because it kind of re-sparks that. This is why I appreciate you. This is why I appreciate you. Like, because you just had that fun flair to you. And especially for women, like, especially after they have kids and stuff like that, they lose themselves a lot. It's kind of like, my body's changing, you know, you have to come out from work, this, that, and the third. And sometimes, like, after the child has come, like, a lot of their life is centered around the kids.
Yeah.
To a point where it's like they're still thinking, like, does hubby still love me, this, that, and the third. And sometimes I feel like as men, sometimes it's just kind of going, you know what? It's difficult, it's tough, X, Y, and Z. But you know what? Maybe we might have to get a childminder, or maybe I'm gonna have to drop the kids at the grandparents, because tonight we've got to do something and make them. You know what I mean? So it's just making the effort, because moments like that, especially when you have kids, to do bike riding to Stratford. What's the likelihood of that happening now? But you can. But the reality is, probably you may not be able to do it from Stratford to Central, but you can go to Central and do it.
Because even so, like, a lot of times when people ask, because I think me and Abs, we've been together, I think it's 8 years this year.
Wow.
I'm married for 1. So a lot of people are like, oh, how do you go? Like, how do you not get bored, or how do you, you know, go through this and that and think everything's, you know, fine? Because obviously we've had ups and downs, etc. And it's minor. But like, when I go on like Snapchat memories and I look back at all the times that we've had since 2015 to now, and I'm looking how young I used to look. And I'm just like, wow, we've grown up together. You know what I mean? Like, I even remember like our first Valentine's Day. Like, these are just memories that I cherish. Like, on Valentine's Day was when Arsenal and Leicester played. Okay. And you know that last minute goal that Welbeck scored, and they went in. And I was in her accommodation, so I jumped up and like, in the morning, innit? And then, like, I think her sisters, they knew we were together, but her mum and dad didn't know we were together. So her mum and dad decided to do one surprise visit on that Valentine's Day. No, I wasn't there. So they were almost like Cov. And I think Simi, one of our younger sisters, clocked Coventry on the map. And then she called, as I said, if Junior's there, get him out now. So I went all the way home, innit? And bro, I planned Berms, like, we're going to go Berms to hotel.
So the Valentine's Day was basically cancelled?
It's cancelled.
Oh, wow. I need to save money,
bro. No. I already booked. And bro, we were supposed to go at like 3. This was at like, I forgot when the match finished. So I still went there. I was just in the hotel room by myself, chilling until like 9 o'clock. And that's when she came, bought pizza, all of that stuff. And just simple Valentine's pizza. It's still a memory I cherish. But you know what I mean? Like, it's this kind of stuff that, you know, makes you like, look, she might be annoying me this day, but I remember all these memories, and I'm like, you can't just give up on that, because that's what we've been through. You know what I mean?
That's
so
built the foundation.
So yeah.
But I wanted to ask you. You touched on children. So you're married. What was that like when you found out I'm gonna be a dad?
Do you remember how you found out?
How did she tell you?
I remember.
How did she tell you?
So at the time we from before marriage and at the beginning of marriage, we had discussed that, you know what, at least 3 years, then kids can come into the picture. So we found out after 3 years. I think it was like 3.5 years. But at the time when I found out, I was then like, life. We were in a different place, like in life. Like, life was fine. We were just enjoying life. We were just chopping life. We were just chopping life. I heard it. Woke up, and she just gave me like a gift bag. And at them times, like, she used to do that. Like, she knows I like gifts and stuff like that. So giving me a gift bag, and I'm looking in there, and just different things. And she put like that. I forgot what it's called, but it's like the luxury tissue thing that you get like in bags. That let's say you went LV and so that wrapping, So she put something there. So what's this? You guys say it's in the morning. So I'm the box. But there was a box. I've opened up the box. I've seen pregnancy test. Wow. So these times, at that moment, I thought, I'm dreaming. This is first thing in the morning. I'm definitely dreaming. So I've looked at it and it said like pregnant or whatever. So I've sat up now. And I'm looking at her like this, even though the timing was fine because we said 3 years after 3 years. But I'm looking at her like, but how? As if you have a magic game. You guys like, but how? I'm like, a child. She was just there laughing, and them times there, like she had a YouTube channel, so she's recording. I said, "Hey, my goodness." I said, "Babe, like, I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless."
Yeah.
So that day, I'm just going about my day, but every moment, I'm just baby. And then I'll go back to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Baby. Yeah. Then in the evening, I went to the gym, and for me, I like to go gym late. So I went late, and then after I'm done, and then there's a 24-hour Tesco. So I was driving past, and I was like, "Oh, babe, do you want anything before I move from that area?" So she was like, "Yeah, I want this and that." So I've gone in there now, and I'm like, I've walked past the medicine area and this, that, and the third. So I said, I'm going to find a pregnancy test. I bought the 3 most expensive pregnancy tests.
Because you think those are the
most accurate. I said, this must be a game. I bought the 3 most expensive ones. I said, when we get, so I come in, the first thing I said, babe, I said, go to the toilet.
Yeah. Go and verify this thing.
Go and verify this thing for me, Johnny. So we go and get this thing down. Every one of them.
Plus.
Wow.
That night, I cannot lie. It was as if there was light shining on the ceiling. Yeah. Even if it was dark for her, there was light shining on. I was just looking up at the ceiling like this. I said, God, I'm about to be a dad. And for me, like it was a joyful thing. But when it dawns that another human being is coming, that's what was chopping for. So for 2 weeks, I didn't sleep properly. It was just always we're having.
Were you in ministry at this time as well?
Yeah, we were in ministry from after. I was in ministry from after uni.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah, my pastoral ordination was 2011.
Oh wow.
When I was ordained an apostle, that was 2019.
Yeah.
So 2011, from then, like I was, when mum and dad had a church, I was with them, I was pastoring the youth church, and then after that, there was a church that, because it was close to uni, when I had like exams and I didn't go back home, that's where I used to go. They found out that, this guy's a pastor.
Yeah.
By the time I said, like, mum and dad's church has closed down, I'm looking to just join here. And like, they were like, so you're going to be part of the leadership team. And I said, I'm just coming to be like, because all my life I've just been doing church stuff. So I just said, I've come here. I said, I would even prefer to be an usher. I said, I don't want anything leadership. But they just compelled me to get into it. So we were doing it from then. But okay, when we found out about our first, that was 2 days before we planted our church. Yeah, literally. So we found out on a Wednesday, and then on a Friday, that was the first service for our church plant. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a very big thing. And man. But one of the things that like God told me was like, I'm gonna teach you how to father people through you fathering your child. And I'm gonna teach you how to father your child by how you father people. Like literally, so that's the way I see church. My members, they're my sheep. I look after them. I look out for them. I'm there for them when they need to be challenged or rebuked. That's the same case. The same thing, vice versa for my kids. So it's kind of like journey of parenting. It's not just one dimensional. It's with church as well. So man.
And when you were told you were going to be a father, did you prepare? How was that 9 months for you? What mentally and emotionally, like how was it?
It was a lot because one, that's first, and like I saw my mum pregnant with all my other siblings, but that's really the only context. Like I didn't necessarily, and then maybe like secondary school and college where you have like some of your friends who have kids earlier. But I didn't really have much more context outside of that. So within like the 2 weeks that it didn't drop, after I found out, and 2 weeks after, and I was still, not having sleep and all of that kind of stuff, like the changes were rapid. So literally, I've come from having a wife who's a morning bird to this woman will wake up, eat breakfast, and go back to sleep until 12.
Oh yeah, because tired and first trimester, right?
From seeing like this woman who's active.
Yeah.
And now she has porridge or whatever she has, and she's gone back to bed. And I'm like, what's this? So at first, I used to be like, babe, like, what's this all about? I used to get onto her.
I feel so bad because I used to get onto my wife for sleeping. Like, I feel bad.
Yeah.
I used to get onto her until one time, she must have. So no, I must have called my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this lady's sleeping all the time. Appetite's gone up. I'm big. Like, and my dad was like, he's like, son, what are you talking about? It's like, your wife's pregnant. And this is her body's response to this. Then I called her mom now. She was like, she would just bust it up.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, she was like, this is what women go through. Because me, I can be very much the literal, like, what's going on sort of thing.
Like me, man.
That's what I mean? I was just like, what's going on? I was like, my wife has been active and then now all of a sudden she's just going to sleep. Yeah. She's eating all the time and sometimes she just wants specific things. So when we first started church, the only thing that my wife would eat on a Friday evening was a particular sandwich from M&S.
Wow. M&S as well.
Yeah. M&S.
Why not Tesco?
No Tesco, no nothing. It was
to be M&S.
It was M&S. It was Nando's, and it was KFC. Nando's. It was the Caesar salad.
Do you think it's the salt? Because with my wife, she likes salty things.
Okay,
so maybe that's probably right.
I don't know. Yeah, but I just know that there was the particular sandwich that she wanted was the chicken and bacon sandwich from M&S.
That sandwich.
The sandwich. I like that sandwich.
Yeah, it's an amazing
M&S. Even right now, we've got
an amazing sandwich.
It's a big sandwich.
Yeah.
My wife is not a sandwich person.
Okay, yeah.
My wife hates cold food.
Yeah.
So this one literally every Friday, before the service, even if we were going to be late, this woman would make me go to M&S, go inside and get that sandwich. Then on other days, it's, babe, I need the Nando's, the Caesar salad. I'm like, babe, like, it's either you're taking the mick because you know that we have money now and X, Y, Z. You're going to Nando's and getting it. Even that time, my diet fell off as well. Like,
of course.
It's because we're following them. We're watching them.
So my diet fell off them times.
We're following them.
Yeah, but so it definitely like balancing all of that in. Recognizing that parenting is on the radar and all of that kind of stuff was definitely man.
I think it's really like your church opened. You had a daughter, so your husband, your pastor of the church, and your father. Like, that's very big callings.
Very big
callings. Like 3 very big callings. Yeah. How was that like for you? Like,
it was definitely a lot because by the time you put church into the picture now, so we're planting our own church. We've not got financial backing. Like we're not planting like a parachurch or so that's basically like if a bigger church send you off to plant or something. Like we've not had that. So the church that we were at, we weren't like extending their vision sort of thing, but they were like when we left, like they raised some money for us.
That's nice of them.
That's nice. That's
very nice of them. We left on good terms.
Yeah, because some places though just
for us leaving, in an honourable way was a very big thing. So we've done that now. So, but they weren't able to raise loads.
Yeah.
So we've done that. So imagine like we need to get instruments, we need to pay rent for a venue, all of that kind of stuff. So literally,
and it's only coming from your pockets as well.
It was coming from business pocket.
Yeah.
I was using business money or I just funneling it all the way into church. Right. Charitable giving. That's why it's fun. Like literally, so it was a lot, but it's kind of like if God called you to this, like this has to be you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot. Like, and then first daughter coming into the picture. But like I said, God said He would teach me how to father my daughter through the church and how to father the church through fathering my daughter at the time. So it was really like I was just patient with myself.
Yeah,
I was just patient with myself because it was too much. It was a lot of things, and at them times there, I can't lie. That's where you thank God for community because they came around like my community of friends, friends that are church leaders, friends that are not church leaders. They came around to support, you know, advice, just general things like coming to our house and just, like bringing food over or whatever, just the little things. It just made a huge difference. But that first year of all, like parenting, church and married, and well, we were obviously married before, but when all three of them at once, it was a lot of things.
Because I think sometimes, especially with pastors, it's like, how do you balance your time and attention between church and your family? And because it's a church that you've just planted, it needs attention. So did you ever have any like conflict between the two, or was it like quite a seamless?
No, I think you will always get that, even when you grow and things, you know, begin to pick up, ministry wise, family wise, XYZ, there will always be some sort of trade-off somewhere. Some smaller than or bigger than others. But for me, what I've learned in adulting, and this is just an adulting lesson, that balance as we know it is wrongly taught. So in school they teach us that, you know, 50 has to work with 50. But then life is not linear. When you're a single person, that's just one thing. But when you're a single person with a job, that's another thing. If you're a single person with a job and extracurricular activities like gym, that's three elements that need to have some form of attention. So the idea of balancing 50-50-50 can no longer work. So for me, what I've learned is that balance is now placing the right amount of time for a particular thing in the right season. So when it comes to church and family, for me, my church, you know, and this is a value of mine even before we started church, the value that I've always kept dear to heart is that church will not take over family. You know what I mean? Family must feel my presence. They must feel my love. They must feel my leadership. And then I'll also, once I know I'm doing that properly, then I feel comfortable enough to serve God's people the right way. Because a lot of church leaders, even some of the greatest, their family life was out of order. When you look in like New Testament, you look at some of like the apostles, they're writing about qualifications of church leaders. One of the qualifications is actually someone who has their house in order. But we're seeing a complete opposite. We're seeing men and women of God whose houses are in absolute disarray. What, your son's on the road, your daughter's doing X, Y, and Z, your husband's there, and we need to kind of get back to that. So for me, why I think that's been a big thing for me is because I saw my dad model that. So he always prioritized, and ministry was big for him. He saw big heights in ministry, but he made time for all of us. And when you've got 5 kids, it's a lot of things, but he made time. He made time for us. He made time for his wife, and he also made time for people. So that balance just looks like, how can I serve, you know, these different areas at the right time and apply the right level of effort for each of those areas. That's what balance is. So balance isn't 50-50. If I spend 24 hours with church guys, then I must spend 24 hours with family. No, it's not quite that. It's when you're at home, does your wife feel your presence? Like what you've agreed as the husband for you to do in the house, like, are you doing it, the house chores, you know, whether the kids X, Y, and Z, can they feel your presence in the home? That even when you do step out, they're like, you know what, his presence is felt. Like, we know he's here. Like, we know he's got us. Whether you're going to work or whatever, they know that you do your thing in the house. So by God's grace, my family, that's always the impression that I leave for my family. But it's not always easy. And especially even now, like, things are picking up. That's a new challenge for me. A new challenge for me is a lot of things ministry-wise are picking up for me.
I've been seeing.
A lot of things are picking up for ministry. And now, like, a lot more conversations I have to have with my wife, like what does like time for us look like? You know what I mean? And that's a big thing, because it's like, you know, I don't want you to, she's always someone who's going to push me towards that. But at the same time, it's kind of like, as you're going towards
she's
that.
A pastor as well, right?
Yeah. But it's kind of like, I don't want to be forgotten in all of the things that you're doing, especially ministry or business or whatever. I don't want to be forgotten. So you have to make sure and prioritize him.
Yeah.
So we've been discussing, what does that look like? What does that look like for you? What would you like that to be? You know? And yeah, we've been having some good conversations. Challenging, but it's really good because at least I know that as things are picking up, I know I'm on the same page with my wife, and I know what she wants from me.
Yeah.
You know, so.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But you've been married 7 years, because I've been married just over a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, to talk to someone that's been married for 7 years. Because bro, 1 year is even long.
Listen, 1 year is long.
1 year is long.
Don't let anybody deceive you. 1 year is long. 1 year, trust me, is long.
So, for young men that have stepped into marriage, what advice can you give us in terms of manhood, in terms of being husbands? Because it's a heavy crown that we're carrying.
Yeah.
What advice have you used in your marriage to make it a happy marriage? So,
I would say one of the first ones is don't lose or don't drop the things that make you tick. So for me, like, an example is being active. So whether that was going to the gym or whether that was like just playing football in a 7-a-side league or something like that. For some time, like, for example, like when I became a parent, at first I dropped that football thing. I dropped gym. I was at home.
What's happened though? Because the same thing with me. If I showed you a picture of what I looked like a year ago, I said, "Oh, it's the same person."
It happens. Listen,
why does it happen?
Listen, because you. Hey, my goodness, let me even tell you. Guys,
please.
So even that first year, even the first 6 months, the weight that I piled on, goodness, it took a year later. We were just sitting we were watching a movie, and it got to the end. Then my wife was just scrolling on through her camera roll, and she's gone back like to a year before, the September the year before, and she's looking at pictures from a wedding we went to, because we're our same. We went to wedding in Abundance. She was like, "Babe, who is this?" So she showed a picture of herself, and in my mind, you know, like when you're just used to marriage, you're just like, it's you there. Then she scrolled to the next one, and it was a picture of me and her. And then she just went silent. And I looked. And guys, the best way to put it is, and I love this man of God and I love his wife, but we definitely were looking like TD Jakes and TV. We were looking like Bishop and Bishop Mrs. Like, we were out of form, bruh. Yeah.
No, but why does it happen? Was it after she had the first?
No. This was after we got married. In that moment of time, you're not deep in it. But I know why. Because after the wedding, we had so much food left. We had so much drinks left. We were having like rice and pounded yam and soup. We were having supermo for lunch and dinner. And as a side,
you're describing my life.
Right? Okay, cool. We had like a storage, like, because we bought so much drinks that literally there was a minivan full of drinks. That minivan had to come back with us and everything. We had so much wine, everything. So that's what we were using when people came over to visit. That's what we host them with that. But even on the day-to-day, when we're having lunch or dinner or whatever, that's what we're having. So we were having that, and look, Supermalt is not one of those drinks that you can just be binging on. That's what we were just having, and Coke and this and that. And we at that moment in time, we're not, because we're just in love, we're married, X, Y, Z, but you're just
living off life.
You're just blowing up. You're just blowing up. It was literally them watching that picture, and then it was my wife looking at that picture and then realizing, wow, we've blown up. That month we did a sugar, whatever, I forgot, non-refined sugar diet or whatever. So we cut out biscuits, cut out sweets, out.
Did you stick
whatever.
to it?
We stuck to it.
Yeah.
We stuck to it. If you see the weight we lost, oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
I lost so much weight. But I was feeling like I was feeling before we got married. Because you have to get, for me, I had to get in shape for my suit, you know what I mean? So me, I was in tip-top shape and I was feeling good. So that moment kind of reminded me like the importance of health and kind of not, obviously marriage is there and you can get comfortable and lazy and stuff like that. And it's not altogether bad, but like if you know that, for example, fitness is your thing, don't lose it. But when you have kids, for example, you kind of lose it again. Diet, who's cooking? Sometimes you're both tired, too tired to cook.
Just order Chinese.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so just order that. You know what I mean? So, and both of us can cook, but when both of us are tired, like, we're just like, yeah, man, you know what pizza it is, or Chinese it is, or whatever. So one thing I've really realized is the things that keep you ticking, the things that keep you alive, don't drop it. If you do, like, be self-aware enough to go, you know what, I haven't been gymming in a few months. You know what, let me sign up again or let me get back. Why? Because you want to bring the best of yourself to the marriage table.
I had that. That's something that
I try and live by. I live by that. Like, I want to give the best me to my wife because I feel like she deserves it. But I feel like with me, my issue in this is just that the pressures of being a dad and a husband, I'm just mentally tired. Like, and I'm working, I'm trying to provide, I'm trying to hustle for my family. And it's just so many things where it's like my wife needs me, my job needs me, my kid needs me. So when it's just me, I just want to chill. But in that time, I should be doing what you said. So doing the things that used to make me take. Like, I used to run a lot. Like, I used to run literally. And since I got married, I stopped doing it.
I've recently even picked up running for the last 2 months.
Oh wow, how's that going?
Yeah, I'm now like doing 5Ks, 10Ks.
5K?
Yeah.
Hey!
I did 10K today. In fact,
10K today.
Let me announce. I did 10K today. As I'm sinking in this chair, my body is aching. Like, I did my fastest 10K today.
Wow.
I did my fastest 10K today, 1 hour 6 minutes. Yeah, literally. I did my fastest 5K on
what time did you
Wednesday, 28 minutes something.
Oh wow. That's good,
and then I did 10K today, 1 hour 6 minutes.
Wow.
Bro, like, and I've done that to challenge myself. I started that, you know why I started it? Because when I was at football, I was realizing, why am I blowing like this? It was in May, like for the whole month of May, I was like, why am I blowing like this? I don't normally blow like, because I normally go to the gym 3 times a week. Why am I blowing like this? I'm like, you know what? I can't, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to do something different. I'm not just going to go to the gym. I'm going to start running. And initially, I didn't even want to do 5K runs. I just wanted to run a mile and then go back to my house. And then I was like, why not do 5K? Challenge yourself. And then I was telling someone earlier today, like when I did my first few weeks of 5K, like I would run 1.5K, stop, walk for a bit, run the next 1.5K, and then the last 0.5, I'll just sprint as fast. So I was doing bare stops. Said 3 weeks of doing that, I built the endurance to start doing 5K all the way. And then after doing that for a whole month, I then start doing 10K. So now this is literally the month that I've been doing 10K. So I've done for 3 weeks now, done 3 days of 10K, Monday, Tuesdays and Fridays. So it's literally, I'm just pushing myself. And then by God's grace, the next few months, I'll be doing half a marathon.
I want to do that.
I'm not even a runner. But the thing is that I just wanted to, I feel like and this is probably something that adds to the conversation, like not just do the things that make you tick, but be willing to explore. Because manhood, I really feel a big part of manhood is about exploring. You don't know what you've got inside you until you make the effort to try something different. I did it in school. I wasn't the guy that was doing athletics. Me is kicking ball, maybe a bit of basketball. That was me. Athletics, no. But doing this thing, I've learned how resilient I am as an individual. Because there's moments where I'm running and I'm like, yo, I'm done. Like on Sunday, on Sunday we did like at church, we did like a social Sunday. So there was no service. We all went to Westfield, White City. We had food, like the church just fellowship together. We played like crazy golf afterwards. And you know, it was someone's birthday, there was cake, there was this, there was that. Monday morning, I got up to do a 10K.
After all of that?
After all of that, I ran like 1.5 miles. I got to a bus stop and I saw cake on the board. I said, I'm done. I literally physically felt sick. I wanted to vomit on the side of the road. And that was going to be my excuse to go home. Mm-hmm. But I said, I would have gone home, 10K. I didn't leave my house to run 1.5 miles. I'm doing this 10K. So I slowed down a bit and I got back onto it. I completed my 10K. Fine, calm. But once again, like I've been learning over these last 2.5 months that I've been doing this outdoor running, my endurance is like, I'm talking to some of my friends who are athletes. They're like, bro, do you understand the time that you're running? Like, for someone your size, bro, you are running quick times. You are. When they said it to me, I'm like, bro, like I was talking to one of my guys, he's a boxer. He's like, bro, do you know what times you're running? Yeah. He's like, even like, there was a day that I did a fasted run. Like I was fasting the whole day and I did a run. He was like, bro, like you ran nearly the same time that I ran on a 5K doing a fasted run. I said, bro, don't gas me, man. Don't chat, man. I said, bro, don't chat, man. He said, bro, he sent me the thing on the night app. I said, but for me, it's like, I'm just doing it because I'm trying to challenge myself. Mm. But I'm realizing that I'm breaking certain stigmas. I'm going beyond like what my natural or my mindset threshold says I should be doing. Mm. I'm going beyond and I'm like, you know what? I'm enjoying this. So as I'm doing, I'm like, you know what? Why don't you do half a marathon? Why don't you do 15K runs that they do in London or whatever? So these are the things that I'm challenging myself towards, and I feel like, and like my wife is fully behind me because she's like, I'm seeing how committed you are. I'm seeing how disciplined like you are. I'm seeing how you're losing weight X, Y, and Z. And for me, that's when you hear your wife saying that, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, when your wife recognizes that, all of those things, like it's like, bro, she's not only recognizing that I'm losing weight, but she's recognizing things about my character.
And it's to her, it's like this is what she wants
this is my man. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm like, the only reason why I started doing it because I was blowing in football. Yeah. I only stumbled across this thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, but you know, like I've got a PS5. That thing has been catching dust.
If you're not using it,
it's just been catching dust. Like gaming is something that I want to do, but I've not been able to have. I'm not even like gaming, spending hours, but just it's another form of release. Like growing up, I used to like play games in my downtime, but not being able to do that. So there's still other areas where I can still like find time to do things that make me tick. Yeah. But there's certain things I'm just committing my time to. The time that I do get to do that I know is really pushing me. It's taking me out of my comfort zone, but I'm reaping the results of it. Yeah. Another thing I would say is just brotherhood. That's why I love what you guys are doing. And I love, you know, the theme, the overarching theme of what you guys are doing here, because in the UK anyway, there's a gap in the market for it. Because the man them in America, they're just talking madness. So, and I feel like we need more, you know, we need more spaces. We need more spaces like this because it gives men an opportunity, men with sense, an opportunity to come. And you might feel like, oh, you know what, like we might not be this and we might not be that, but let me tell you something, like the guys that do watch, like that do listen and take in what you're saying, because you're speaking sense, it will benefit you, and you really don't know who you're speaking to. That's true. For us that are doing Real Talk Real, people are like, oh, you guys are big, you guys are popular. I promise you, there's people that have never publicly said they've watched us. I randomly might walk and someone might say, hey, you're from Real Talk Real? Yeah, I watch you. I listened to your podcast episode about grief. And that week I was, you know, planning on committing suicide X, Y, and Z, but I listened to your episode. I'm like, bro, this is something that can make someone fall on because it's like you don't know the extent of how you're touching people. Yeah. So you guys doing this is not, don't just see this as this is initiative. See this as a form of healing as well. Because for both of you, irrespective of what life was like growing up, this is a form of healing. You're communicating on topics that you're passionate about, but you're also kind of unraveling certain parts of your life. So this is a form of therapy in itself. So you should never take this for granted. This is brotherhood for me. Do you understand? If God called me to this, I'll do it, but he hasn't. So I'll stay in my lane. But that's why I feel comfortable here, because it's like the man them need this. So the overarching thing is brotherhood, but more specifically for you guys, like this thing, this really represents like your friendship and your relationship, and these are the sort of things that it's not just content creation. This is accountability.
Yeah, it's actually not just content.
It's because you know what's funny,
This is accountability.
With us, like. I can't if you think a couple of years ago, I wouldn't think we'd be like this now, how we are now.
We were opposites.
Yeah, we were opposites. So it's pretty much like I was like very loud and outgoing. Ken is like to himself, but when he goes out, he's But even the other day, like remember because I think like 2 weeks ago, I was like, when are we linking up with like us and our wives? Because I was like, we really need to sit down and talk about how marriage is, etc. And I was like, because obviously Malachi was born 2 months ago. We hadn't had one of those in a couple months. And I was like, nah, let's, really talk and get down and have a conversation. Because I feel like that's where it all comes out when we're, it's just us two. Us four. So obviously, I think it was on Sunday, innit? Was it Sunday, last Sunday? After church. So we went to their house and, at some point, we were just talking in general. Then Ken must have been the one to bring it out. So he said, marriage, guys. So what's going on?
That's how it starts.
And then that's like, it's like me and Ken are on one side and our wives are on the other.
Hey, wow.
And it was like, it was really like a basketball session.
But we felt so light after that.
Afterwards, because when I came home, I was like, wow, like, we really needed that because it's like, Ken and Nos, they were going through whatever they're going through, but it's similar to us. So we were saying to each other like, what was the question? It was something like, how can
appreciation? Like, what can we do better to appreciate our women
partners? So, but so all partners said what we think we do, and what we thought we did, we don't do. And what we wanted was the set like different things. So once we talked about it and got it out in the open, we realised that me and Ken want kind of the same thing. They want kind of the same thing. So now it's the thing where now we're accountable to each other to make sure that we're doing this. So like even a couple of weeks ago on the pod, we were like, maybe every week we'll be saying something that we're going to do for our wives to help them out. And we didn't bring up against them.
I don't mind though.
I don't mind. So my one was to make sure I bath Mally like 3 times in 1 week to help her abs, and I did that. And yours was to make breakfast in the morning. And so like stuff like that, it keeps us accountable. But like it's just funny how God works, because it's like, bro, in uni or anything like that, I wouldn't have thought we'd be like this. Like, even in college, and then now we're like, you know what I mean? Like this is with my brother. Like we actually have like 4 of us are like accountable to each other. And like that's our little group of married people. And obviously, in the coming years when our friends get married, and so they would also come into it, and you know what I mean. So it's a big thing. It's a great thing, and I'm really happy to have someone like that. Like we got married. Well, he got married 2 months before me, so it's like it's definitely a thing where God was like, we're gonna give you people that are with you in this. Because if it was just us,
and I think
you don't know who you'd be talking to.
Need that community, especially when you get married. You need it.
As men, you definitely need it. As couples, you need it, but as men, you need it because 100%. as you've said, I think this is it's a marriage thing. You realize very quickly that a lot of the man what we think, what we need, what we desire, or our wants, they're very much aligned. But then when you find out from the spouses, some of the things, maybe some of their, the icks that you give them X, Y, and Z. Someone's wife says this. And then you just get a look from your spouse, like your wife going, you do the same thing. Or my wife, she's confident and she'll be like, Iman does exactly the same thing. Do you get what I'm saying? So you realize very quickly that we're on the same page. But because as men, we're more likely to like try and shield parts of us that we feel these are vulnerable things. And so it's only in moments like that when you realize, wait, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But we're less likely to initiate amongst ourselves. We might feel a bit more safer if our spouses are there, but if it's ourselves, if it's man or man, it's a bit more like, and that's why I'm like, that's why like what you guys are doing is so important, because this, like I said, this is therapy. You guys have to be vulnerable. That's when you podcast, you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah,
so do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so now this is actually, oh, hold up, okay, so you went through that, or you actually go through this, X, Y, Z. You're like, oh, okay. And then you start talking because maybe you've had a similar experience, or it takes you back to a certain moment in time. Like so brotherhood is a very big thing. Like for me, brotherhood is big, and that's because family is a big value for me. So my friends who are genuinely my friends, my people, my brothers, yeah, man, I value them highly. I do. If I've lost my job, or when I was in business and I lost contracts, X1, they were the first guys I went to. After talking to my wife, I told my brothers.
Yeah,
because because I know there's no judgment. I know there's no, they're gonna try and get onto me or say something silly. They're gonna think about it and they're gonna come back. Like there's moments where they're like, bro, you know what? I may not have the answer, but let's pray. Just hit me up on FaceTime, bro. Yeah, we're after praying, we're talking for like 2-3 hours. Into the night. So like that, and it's not just moments like that. There's moments where the band checked me. Like there was an instance where for my first daughter's baby shower, my wife was really getting on my nerve the day of the baby shower.
On
the day. And it was all pregnancy stuff. But that day I was just like, look, I'm not in all this kind of stuff, man. Like, you're really doing the most. Yeah. And I know it's pregnancy and hormones, but yeah, you're really doing the most. So I think I just said, look, babe, you're doing too much, and yeah, you're starting to get my nerves. So saying that was not the wise thing. Oh, woman on hormones. Hey, my goodness.
No, what is it?
She switched that thing up on me. So now we're in the car. Now we're driving
to the baby shower.
Driving to. It was the day of the baby shower. So we're driving to the baby. She's going off X, Y, Z. And yeah, I'm just keeping quiet. No, you know what? Because it actually is switched up before then. Yeah. So at one moment, because she was talking to me, and I was just like, I'm not trying to get into this, so I'm not going to respond. So she's like, okay, you're not responding. So she calls my boy. She calls Pastor Ayo.
Oh, does she? Oh, you Pastor Ayo, like you guys, like,
yeah, that's my guy. Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, that's nice.
Like, he's an amazing man.
Amazing man.
Incredible man.
Really
he's an incredible man. Even like if you guys, I'll even say, look, get him on whenever you can. He's a bag of wisdom as well. But yeah, so she called him, and she was like, yeah, you need to talk to your brother. He's moving mad. Imagine I'm driving a car and she's like, yeah, you need to talk to your brother. He's moving mad. In my mind, I'm like, wait, hold up. We're on the M-way now. I'll drop you on the hard shoulder. I will drive to this place myself. However you get there, you'll get there. So she's like, yeah, you need to talk to your brother, this, that. I'm talking to him and he's not responding, X, Y, Z. And the thing about him, he's not asking too many questions when he doesn't need to. Just listen. And I know when I was driving, in my head I was smirking because I was like, I know he's coming to say something smart to me now. Yeah. So he was like, bro, there's a tone that he's like, bro. It's like, bro, that's not the right thing. It's like, bro, you need to think about today. You need to think about the impact of your act. It was just there. In my mind, I'm thinking, this woman that's sitting next to me is trying to round me up. And now she's got my bro on her. He's like, bro, da-da-da-da-da. He's like, you know what, bro? He's like, you need to apologize. You need to say sorry. Ego was spinning. Yeah. And his wife, Pastor Susan, was there as well. Oh, wow, she was like, bro, and she's my sis. She was like, yeah, she's like, bro, you need to. She's like, come on, like, so they were like, come on, bro, like, you need to do it now. You need to do it now. When we get on I was like, literally, like, I'm in the car, this is all, like, speaker, everything. So I apologize, X, Y, Z. Anyway, by the time we got off the call, like, we just had a conversation, cool down, and we got in there, and yeah, it was amazing. But why I brought up that instance is because, like, sometimes I feel like man them are encouraged to be passive. So it's kind of like beyond the, yo, bro, what one? And you say, yeah, I'm blessed, bro. We leave it at that.
Yeah, that's so true.
We don't really go beyond.
That's so true, yeah.
But for me, one thing I've been doing, especially as I know that one of the areas that God wants to use me a lot more is in the area of manhood and encouraging manhood, especially amongst the brothers. But like, you know, we were discussing, you know, before, like my work in prisons as well. So it's not even just Christians, but unbelievers as well. And I've been learning that there was a crazy stat I heard, like something like 10 or 12% of men develop relationships deeper than the hi-bye sort of thing. 12%. That means the majority of men. She was like, the lady who wrote the book, she was like, yeah, most men that walk the earth do not have relationships of depth.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I think that's me, you know.
Well, you don't think you have relationships of depth?
Only with my brothers. For example, church. So we started a new church recently.
Yeah.
Like that's last September, so coming up to a year.
Yeah.
And a lot of the brothers there, it's like every Sunday is like, yo, bro, how you been? I'm good, bro. See you next week. But it's like all it just takes is for me to just open up and just talk.
Yeah.
And it's something that, especially with brothers as well, it's something that I'm trying to work on. Like I'm not really I don't really like to go to that next level. I feel like I kind of showed myself.
Yeah.
So it's funny that I'm on a podcast because I'm basically like expressing. But in like reality, I'm someone that just likes to keep myself to myself. So that's definitely something that I can resonate to.
Yeah. No, it's a very big thing. And I think that for me, I'm like, since I read that and since I've been seeing like what we're seeing in society now, we're seeing the rise of the manosphere and the Tates and the this, that and the third. Yeah. We're seeing all this toxicity, but at the same time, we're also seeing the rise of women being empowered, women getting better jobs, women doing better in education, and we're seeing the actual decline of men. But men are not being self-aware enough to recognize there's a crisis on our hands. So for me, I'm just like, yo, like if anything, I'm gonna be a champion of this. We need to build deeper relationships. We've got to go deeper, bro. Because the reality is, a lot of us guys are going through stuff or have been going through stuff, and we've just not put ourselves in safe spaces that can bring us healing. So we're avoiding healing, and we're kind of living life like mummies. So we've been wrapped up in all this whatever, and we're just living life that way. Everything, whether you get shot or you get stabbed in the back, like all that wrapping and winding has got you covered. So you feel like, you know what, I'm numb to all this. But the problem is that by the time you get married, the time you have kids, this is where it all, because now your wife is dealing with a mummy. She's not dealing with a human, she's dealing with a mummy. Yeah. Your children are not dealing with human beings, they're dealing with men that are just wrapped in their own self-defense mechanisms that don't allow them to feel again. And so now, like, we have to make like, for me, I'm so grateful. Like, for me, I've always been one who's expressive, but that doesn't mean I haven't had to learn how to express and communicate in better ways or communicate more, express more. Like, having daughters, my goodness, especially my firstborn, I told you guys, like, she's very much in touch with her emotional side. I need to be able to say, you're beautiful, even when she's not, her hair is not done. So one thing I'd started doing, like when she was maybe like 2 or so, I started doing affirmations before bed. I am beautiful. I am kind. I am a bold, black, beautiful girl. I am blessed. I'm this, I'm that. Like before she goes to bed. Now her sister's in a pit. We do the same thing. The sister's 1 and a bit, but her sister even knows when it's time for us to do prayers and her sister will stand up in her bed, like I'll be saying or in her baby gibberish, but they know that it's time. So for me, like I've been learning, but thankfully, part of what's helped me in that is the brothers that I'm around, the men that I'm around who can, like my dad, like I've got, 1 brother, 3 sisters. So I've watched how my dad, approached my sisters, how he loved like his wife and stuff like that, and how he loves his wife. And I'm like, okay, that's something, because I've had that model, I can now do it for myself. So the peer thing is good, the brotherhood is good, but then another layer to that is having those models that have gone ahead. You know what I'm saying? For you guys, 7 years is deep. Me, I'm rolling with man them that are 30, 40 years deep. You know what I mean? But what you've done, you've put yourself in a position to learn. same way, that's what I do for myself. So what you guys are doing here, once again, I have to give you the credit. Like you put yourself in a situation where you want to learn. You've reached out to me, and I've done, you know, by God's grace, a little bit more. But at the same time, there's me in comparison to those that are ahead of me. They've done a lot more than me. Yeah. But that's what I encourage. Like, you put yourself in that situation. Be around people who have gone ahead of you, so that they can share stuff with you that will save your life. That will save your marriages. Trust me. Yeah. 1 year, I agree, it's a long time. But there's things that you don't need to get to 7 years before you recognize. I can share it with you now, so that if it pops up by year 2, you already know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So those are some of the things, and at the same time as well, you probably say like, just like from a Christian perspective, like understanding that how I'm now redefining manhood, like from a Christian perspective, and if people now ask me what's biblical manhood, or what's manhood from a Christian perspective, and I say literally it's expressing the heart and nature of Christ through the male frame. That's biblical manhood for me. Being a man, there's certain characteristics and traits and, you know, leanings that we have. But if Christ is expressed through all of that, for me, that's biblical manhood. And so, as a believer, it's how can I represent Christ in this way? As a man towards men and women, how can I be like Christ? As a man towards my husband, as a husband, how can I be this man? Yeah. As a father, how can I be a Christ-like man? Yeah. And every day you ask yourself that question, as you read scriptures, you will then learn how to apply those certain things. You understand? As a man, so like Paul says, laying down your life for your wife, loving your wife. So what does that look like? So something that me and my wife have been doing of maybe the last year or so, we ask ourselves every day, how can I serve you?
I've started doing that.
Yeah. How can I serve you?
I've heard that.
How can I serve you? How can I help you? Yeah. How can I meet your need today? Yeah. And that really, especially as men, like, because sometimes, you know, because of patriarchy and X, Y, Z, the focus so much is on us. How can our wives serve us? Even by the time our kids become of age, how can our kids serve us? Yeah. What can I give them? Okay, I know that by the time my kids are older, I know they will be able to get the remote for me. I know they will be able to
my food from the.
You get what I'm saying? So all of that kind of stuff, but it's kind of like, that's the reverse. Like, from a Christian perspective, it's actually the reverse. Yeah. As a man, you ought to lay your life down for your wife, for your family. So you have to think, okay, cool, how can I do that? And, you know, you were talking about work and stuff earlier, and, you know, my encouragement for you is that place it on reverse. You need to place emphasis on your growth as a man so that you can serve your wife in the best way possible. You need to fill yourself first before you can be the best man in the workplace. When you do it reverse, you will find that you're building the man of work, and you're building the husband, but you're not building the man. And the man is the core of who you are. Yeah. The husband is an expression of your manhood. The career man is an expression of your manhood. It's not your manhood. You, as a man, you need to dedicate time to yourself. What does that look like? Build your spiritual disciplines, your prayer and your reading of the word. Build your physical disciplines. Okay, checking what I eat, looking after my health. Do I need to go run? Am I going to join gym? Am I going to join a 7-a-side team or whatever you like doing that. Then also your community. What's your bit like? Your brotherhood. Then the couples that you're around. And then the way I see it is, I feel like in relationships there should always be like 3 areas that you should pay attention to. You should have your peers, so people kind of like at the same stage or area that you are at. Then you should have people that have gone ahead, and then you should have people that are in behind. So maybe for you guys, single friends. So your single friends, make sure you've got a good base of those. Make sure you've got a good base of married friends, and make sure you have a good base of married, you know, people that have gone ahead of you, that you kind of go to advice. When you're going through tough times, maybe you and a missus can't resolve a particular issue, and maybe you need a third, you know, voice in that can be a voice of reasoning or, you know, mediation or whatever. You've got that person there. You trust them. They're not going to be biased towards one side. They're going to give it to you straight. I'll give you an example. I know I've been talking a lot.
No, go on. You're talking.
So when we were serving at the last church before we planted, I remember there was a time after we got married and we were arguing about something so petty and silly. I can't remember what it is. So it happened to be on a Sunday, and I don't know why. God needs to deliver his married couples from arguing on Sunday mornings. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, man.
It's just about some guy at church, man.
That's out here, man. Literally. So we're arguing about something silly. So like before we got to church, we weren't talking to each other, and it's funny because at the time we were both on the worship team. So that's one. Even though we were senior leaders, we were also on the worship team as well. So like if you're part of the worship team, you have to get to church early to set up sound checks and X, Y, Z. So we kind of need to talk to each other about. People are kind of clocking,
This is a bit tense.
It's a bit tense here, So after the service, Mrs. has gone to the pastor's wife and said, "Yo, like, we've had a disagreement X, Y, Z." So they said, "Okay, we need to shoot off, but before we shoot off, we'll speak to you guys and we'll see what's going on." So after we come into the room. And then the pastor's wife was like, "Yeah, so guys, what's going on?" So my wife is going off, this X, Y, Z. So I was ready. I'm a facts and figures guy.
Honestly.
No, if in another life, I kid you not, I would probably be one of the richest lawyers on the planet. I could do this thing for real. So now I'm bringing facts and figures. I'm like, I'm going to lay this one down. They are definitely backing me. So after she said a bit, I said my bit. There was silence for a hot sec. The pastor's wife, you know what she said? She said, "Emmanuel and Toby, you are selfish. You are both selfish." She ripped into us. She was roasting us like some secondary school. She said, "You are both selfish. You're inconsiderate of your feelings. And this was a waste of time."
Jesus.
She said it was a waste of time.
She said because we had chosen not to listen to ourselves and we had chosen to be right in our own eyes, not willing to take. So she wasn't even saying it in a nasty way. She was saying in a sense that because like I said, I had already prepared my argument. And when you prepared your argument, you're basically saying, "I'm right, and there's nothing for me to learn." And she said, "That's why we're here." So the reason why we're here is because both of you don't want to listen to each other. And she said, "The bottom line is this: what you're arguing over." And I cannot lie, the shame. I was like, we were arguing over this, but it's like someone had to tell you this. It's obvious information, but someone had to rip into us to let us know that, look, this is petty, and your pride is too high. And for me, like one of the final things she said in that conversation was, she said, "You guys are in marriage now. If you want to know one of the quickest ways to die to yourself as a believer, it's getting married." And you learn, like for me, that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned in marriage. It's dying to yourself daily.
It is. I'm learning it. I'm like, wow, the amount of pride and ego we have to swallow. We have to
you have to.
Crazy.
You have to, because like my bro, Pastor Aya says this. He was like, do you want to be right and lose your wife? Or would you rather understand and basically let your wife know that you're taking in what she's saying? And for us as men, we'd rather like assert that we're right. And the thing is that I've kind of clocked it. There's a psychology behind it, but when we always go on like we're right, what it does, it kind of makes them feel like their voices should feel diminished. So they won't feel like they should speak up because you're the right person. So if anyone in this house is going to say something, or if anyone in this relationship is going to say something right, it's going to be you, because you're always right. So what that does, it silences them. And listen, as a man, trust me, especially as a man that is married to a godly wife, trust God in your wife. My wife has saved me many times. She knows the voice of God. She's a woman of wisdom. It doesn't mean that we, every time I'm like, you're right, XYZ. But I've had to learn that through my willingness to understand and not focus on arguing, but focusing on understanding her perspective. Even if I don't agree, my focus should be on understanding her perspective. Then when I do understand her perspective, more times she feels like, one, she can speak to me, and two, that we can reason on matters, whether it's about parenting, whether it's about marriage, whether it's about career or whatever. And so as men, like I think, especially now, I think sometimes, like I speak to a lot of like younger men getting into marriage, and it's kind of like, yeah, my wife's got to listen to, like my wife's just got to listen. I'm like, bro, that's not what we're in marriage for. That's not like, if Jesus went around going, yeah, people just like, bro, Jesus, the Lord of all, went around preaching, and people, like the God that created us as human beings came to dwell amongst us, and people spat on him.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Was he fighting? He wasn't fighting to be right. Yeah. He did what he did, and he modeled his message. And that's what I feel like one of the greatest things about manhood is, you model your message. If you want something to be done in your house a particular way, you model it first. Yeah. What men think, what alpha male mentality does is, I will tell my wife to do it and she will do it. No, that's not the Jesus type of way of leadership or manhood. You do it first. Jesus didn't tell his disciples to do something that he didn't do first. He said, lay your life. He laid his life down first. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? He said they should pray. He prayed first. All of these he gave first. So there's so much that Jesus shows us that if we apply it on a basic level, we may not become pros at it first time, but when we practice it and we do it, like, we're creating homes that are blissful. When people come to my house, and one of the prayers I always prayed is, when people come to our house, let them feel the love that is amongst this house. And every time they come, like, they see my love for my wife, my love for my, daughters, my wife's love for the daughters, their love for us, they see it. And that's because, for me, I've had to make it a point of importance that I model what I want my family to see and do, but also for what I want people to experience when they come into our space. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
Wow. No, thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you, honestly.
Thank you. Like, I've learned a lot. It's very encouraging as well. Like, I feel like I'm encouraged now. I need to go home. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, we don't want to keep up for too long.
We got a couple like questions that we did ask though. Yeah. But okay, yeah, I can start with this one. So they're not quick fire, but they're kind of. So, like, what are good qualities that your wife has?
She's caring. She's a listener. She's just a go-getter. Yeah. She's a driven person. So me, I've always wanted that in a woman. I don't want it to, even though I'm a driven person myself, very driven, but I don't, unless you're a woman that's like a woman of leisure, maybe like wants to be a stay-at-home mom and whatnot, which there's nothing wrong with if there's an agreement between you guys. But for me, like, I've always wanted my wife to be driven, because I'm just like, what God has called me to, like, I know that God has also kind of called my wife to do a lot as well. So to kind of like stay behind me, I don't like that mentality, especially for someone in ministry. I don't want someone that's going to be standing in my shadows. I want someone that can stand comfortably beside me. Like, people would be even like, okay, wait, who's doing this thing like this? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, God has given me that. So yeah,
that's great. And what is your opinion about keeping secrets in marriage?
I think secrets in marriage are a very dangerous thing, and I think that's one of the key reasons why actually people end up getting divorced in the first place. That's really and truly, if you're in covenant with someone, in the marriage covenant, then yeah, I think you secrets can't be there. Yeah,
okay, and that's cool. And then one of the other questions, just what are the benefits of getting married?
There's many benefits, but from a practical perspective, it's a companionship. On another level, it's sex. On another level, it's the ability to build something that's your own. So not in the shadows of mum and dad. You're building something for yourself. Like, I remember our first Christmas with our daughter. Like, my wife was like, what are our Christmas traditions?
Oh, I still need to do that, you know?
So it's kind of like, it's like, because you easily, like, my family, like, they're very much, Christmas, ours, everyone comes to ours, and it's kind of like, okay, but when you become a family, like, you don't want to lose your family culture shrouded in your, your mom and dad and your siblings, but you are building a family, and so that has to take priority. I know for Nigerians that's a big challenge.
Yeah, why don't they like? Because even when I said it, my mom was like, "How can you not come on? Because I've got my own back."
Yeah, trust me. Yeah. I had that the year our first daughter was born, and she was 1 that year as well. So my parents just had this expectation that we were coming there, and we were like, no, we were like, in fact, you guys are coming here.
Yeah.
So they came to us that year actually. But it's kind of like this is what part of growing up looks like, and sometimes that's having hard conversations. Like when my first daughter was meant to get christened, my dad's 60th was around that time, and my dad tried to do this thing where he wanted the christening to happen at his birthday, and my wife did not want that because it's like all these loads of people are coming down. We don't want all of that. Yeah. So that one was a hard conversation.
Very hard.
Oh, it was a very hard one. It was more so with my mum than it was my dad.
Yeah,
and it was my dad's birthday.
Yeah, and it's almost like you don't want to let down your parents as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And because obviously I have a great relationship with our parents, it's kind of like I understand, it's your first grandchild, X, Y, and Z, but you have to understand where we're coming from. Like, it's not that kind of party. Like, she was only 2 months at the time. Like, we're not trying to. There's a lot of people we don't know. Why do we want to be, doing a christening on the same day as your birthday? We'd rather come for your birthday, not as a christening, which was what we were always gonna come and do. It's your birthday thing, but not do a christening. So we got to a point of reason. But
because even my mum, she's a pastor, so she wanted Zephaniah to get dedicated at her church, but I've got my own church. Right. So I was like, Mum, I'm getting it dedicated at my church. Like literally, it was a conversation we was having for months. Yeah. Like for months. Yeah. Then my missus was like, doesn't make sense. I'm now in the middle. My mum saying, I don't want to upset my mum. I would upset my wife.
It's so jarring.
Obviously, we got it dedicated at my church. Like, it was fine. But just the whole, it was a weird. Because I've got my wife I don't want to let down. Yeah. I've got my mum that I don't want to let down. So it was very difficult to navigate that. It was very difficult.
That's because me, I like giving practical examples. I don't just like saying things theoretically. But those are some of the real things that you do find. So you have to be able to find your feet, and going back to the question, like building your own culture as a family, as as a couple, like you must be confident. If we've agreed something as a couple, then people have to respect that. If they don't respect that, that's on them. We respect our parents and we honor them, but they also recognize, like, when we were getting married, they heard our vows to one another. Do you get what I'm saying? And the Bible says it, like, we leave our houses and we cleave to our spouse. So man. So those are some of the.
That's a good. I'm gonna use that next time. Okay, cool.
Quick fire or dilemma?
Quick fire. We do quick fire. Cool. So one quick fire question that we always ask every guest, because we just like the question. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite memory of your partner?
Favorite memory? I would say. I'd probably say, man, our first year. That a hard moment became a moment that brought us together and kind of shaped the foundation of the rest of our marriage. Yeah, man, what she did for me and what she did to encourage me, boost me, like just push me forward. That's something I'll never forget. That's my favorite. We've had so many great moments, but I think as a man, that, when you make the commitment for better, for worse, for this, for sickness, for health, for all of that, those moments like that, or that moment there, or that period of time there in our first year, I don't think anything can take it out from being in first position.
Yeah, and to be honest, what she done during that time period is basically your marriage vows, for better, for worse. It was like your worst, and she held you up. You know what I mean? So, hey, 100%. Respect it still. Okay, cool. So, pick a number between 1 and 39.
4.
4. Okay. What is your dream holiday?
Oh, dream! My goodness. I'll answer this honestly. I've never thought about that, It's because of family life and everything. I don't know what my dream holiday would be. I don't know.
I heard that.
I really don't know, and I'm not even trying to jump out. Like I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Okay, first.
Pick another.
Pick another one.
Pick another one.
1 to what?
39. We're still at it. So 1 to 39.
25.
Summer or winter? What season do you prefer?
Winter.
Why?
Because you can triple down. Can't lie, though. A couple of jumpers that you wear.
I can't lie. That's one thing that I loved about you when I first got to know you. I was like, you're fly still.
And you know what?
You're fly, man.
Christian guys, normally they're
pastor as well, you know.
They're just wearing church shoes. But bro, we see a young man drip on driving like. Even
it's encouraging.
It's very encouraging. Because even when I saw the jumper, everyone messaged us. I was like, "Can you ask him where he got it from?" They said Billionaire Boys Club. I said, "This one's not cheap." Okay.
Oh man, yeah, it has to be winter. And I think part of it is because I was born in the winter as well. So yeah, I just prefer it. I just prefer it in general.
Okay, cool.
We'll do one more.
Yeah, do one more. Wait, two more. Even more. Okay. Yeah, even.
16.
Okay, would you rather be have a 10-year basketball career as the best six man, or a 7-year career in football as a substitute?
Kai.
Even good. You like basketball and football, yeah?
Yeah. It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a tough one still. Because even don't forget basketball, you got P as well. You know?
Yeah, no.
But it depends where you
so
are.
it's like if you'd be Lou Will, or I'm thinking I don't know many subs that you can remember their names though.
Or I mean, if it's Arsenal, maybe Fabio Vieira or something. Like
Reece Nelson or somebody.
True.
I don't know, man. I'll say sub at football.
Okay, cool.
I think me too, man.
You want to be a sub? Yeah, I think football is my first love. Okay, cool. Yeah, just one more.
I'll do 39.
39. Oh.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
What is the proudest moment of your life?
Oh.
Someone that has 3 callings.
Yeah, I think no.
Because whatever question you pick, somebody's gonna say something.
Gonna hold it against me, man. Oh man.
You know what? Say one of the proudest. Don't say the proudest.
Yeah.
But one of the proudest.
One of the proudest, I can't lie, would definitely have to be planting a church. And I say that because I think 5 years on, I've recognized how it's not for the faint-hearted. And yeah, even 2 years out of those 5 years we were doing that during the pandemic.
Wow.
And we still came out the other side
stronger. Yeah.
So for me, that's a huge one. That's a huge one because you don't do that. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the people that are just in it for, for the sake of clout or to make money from it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we were in this for real. So the fact that we're still standing, we're planting and we're still standing.
Continue to grow.
Yeah, man. We'll continue to grow as well. So
when planting a church was laid in your heart, was it something that you jumped into instantly, or were you like battling? Were you battling it?
I was battling even before when I was first ordained 2011. I was running for 2 years before that because I was in uni times. So them times there, I kind of did a post about this last week where I was like, bro, like I'm being ordained as a pastor when I'm at uni. Like, what are people gonna be saying? Like, people, like, this is gonna just throw people off. I'd rather be called Smalls than you know what I'm saying? And it's.
But we thank God that you
honestly, we're here, man, and you're thriving, man. Honestly,
it's that, and after the 2011 piece, I think that's when I kind of came into the reality of. I knew I was called. I just didn't want to embrace it back in those times. But now I was in a place where I was ready to embrace it.
Yeah.
So by the time church was in the picture, God had spoken like early 2017. but we didn't plant till midway through 2018.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a rushing thing.
Yeah.
I'd spoken to like our two spiritual like oversight. So one is my dad, and someone else, and the other person is called Dr. Hugh Osgood, who at the time very influential man in church, the church landscape in the UK. So like you have Church of England, you have the Catholic Church, you have the Orthodox Church, and then there's a fourth angle, and basically all the churches that are not under like Methodist, Anglican, all of that structure, they call it free churches. So basically Pentecostal churches, all of that, they fall under his remit.
Yeah.
So he very influential man. So he's our spiritual oversight as well as my dad. And I spoke to both of them consistently for a year. Funnily enough, they were like, yeah, we knew. They were just like, yeah, we knew. So like they weren't even saying no. They were like, yeah, it's about time. Yeah. So I was like, bro, nah, it's not time. We're gonna do it next year. Like, you know what I mean? But we didn't jump into it. Church is not something you jump into. Yeah. Like I know the generations is a bit different now, because I feel like now like certain, Gen Z like ministers, like they think it's a hype thing, like we're gonna do church, we're gonna, and it's like, no, it's not what you think it is. Like church, 5% for church leader, 5% of church life is preaching. 95% is people. Yeah. So, and that's it's contrary to what people think. I sit about just studying and preparing for sermons. Bro, Monday to Saturday, even Sundays at time. Like church members, mentoring, counseling, Bible study, praying for people, going checking if there is someone who's in hospital, this, that, and the third. Like that's what we're doing most of the time. And then remember, I've got a family, I've got a wife, so all of that. So this preaching thing that people just like think church's life is about. It's not that. So yeah, man.
Life, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Beautiful episode.
Great episode.
I think one thing I can take about from this episode is that I'm encouraged. Like, you've encouraged me.
Thank you for having me. Like this spaces like this is bread and breakfast for me, man. I don't feel apprehensive. I don't feel what's going on here. Like I'm comfortable. This is me. Nothing throws me off in spaces like this, man. So encourage you guys. Like I said, there's a space for this. It might not look like it because, people are looking for what's controversial. Yeah. But trust me, the way the times go, like history always repeats itself. There's gonna be a need for things that go beyond the, who pays for the first day. The wings are going to turn, and then people are going to look for content that actually has substance. And that's where, because you guys are being consistent with this, this is where people are going to come to you guys, and this is where people are going to now ask you guys for marriage tips and parenting tips. So you guys, man, keep on your toes. Keep on your toes. Like as you're learning, people are gonna come to you. Even your friends that are not married yet, they're looking to you guys. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So never put yourself in a position where you're just relaxed. You're like, you know what? I'm just trying to make it on my own. No, trust me, life is working too fast. And the way that you have to be prepared is that as I'm learning, people are gonna come to me. So always put yourself in a position where you're learning, because whatever you learn, you can then always, you know what I'm saying? That's why I love stuff like this, because I can share all the stuff I'm sharing with you, I've learned. Yeah. But I'm now sharing it with you. You guys now know. You can now share it to others. You know what I'm saying? So, man. That's how it goes, man. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And wishing your platform the best, and I'll keep on championing this space, and looking forward to more episodes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, man.
Appreciate it.
So another episode of Don't Tell My Wife podcast.
Come on.
Really, really appreciate you for coming on, man. Honestly, great episode, man. And man, we'll catch you guys next week. So like, share, comment, subscribe, and you'll see greater guests. You'll see good guests. So the guests with substance. You know what I mean? But man, thank you very much for tuning in. As I said, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And make sure you don't tell our wives.
We out.